welcome back. Alright, so now we understand that these fallen sons of God that are of a high spiritual nature, because they come from the spirit world, that they are fulfilling a service in coming to this world, which is a part of the divine plan. But that divine plan has been aborted by rebellion. Now, because we have these beings that have lived in the spirit estate already once and are now bound in the physical estate, we see that the scripture refers to them as being bound here, that they cannot ascend into heaven, that they have lost even some of their spiritual prerogatives or powers, to simply put it. So what we're going to look at here is a description even further in the book of Enoch that describes that exactly taking place. Now, and it's also going to describe for us that they are being bound in the earth, okay, and that they are also being bound with this geometry, and we'll explain. Let me read this first and then we'll come back and explain it. Then I looked and turned myself to another part of the earth, where I beheld a deep valley burning with fire. To this valley they brought monarchs and the mighty, and there my eyes beheld the instruments which they were making, fetters of iron without weight. Then I inquired of the angel of peace who proceeded with me, saying, For whom are these fetters and instruments prepared? He replied, These are prepared for the host of Azazel, that they may be delivered over and adjudged to the lowest condemnation, and that their angels may be overwhelmed with hurled stones, as the Lord of spirits has commanded. So here's where the information begins to take place with geometry. We find out that, of course, that this valley burning with fire is absolutely where the legendary mythological hell has come from. This is where the origin of hell is, that the devil would be in the inner earth in this fiery place, because that is remembered instance of where these beings are actually being held, that is within the confines of the inner earth. Alright, so now we see that where in this inner earth, or what I should say, is being brought to this inner earth place is going to be the monarchs and the mighty. Now remember in Genesis 6 describing the Nephilim children, that these are men of old, men of renown, mighty men. Okay, so this is directly talking about those Nephilim children that were born on earth, died as physical beings, but their terrestrial spirits are on earth, remain to be bound for a period of time. And that is the time that we're all now in, my friends. Those seals which has bound them have been loosed. And that is a little bit about what I'm trying to explain in this video series. Is about what these seals do, how they were initiated, and how they are being loosed at this very moment, and how all of this hinges on free will. And it says, And there my eyes beheld the instruments which they were making, fetters of iron without weight. Alright, that's it. That's the seal. That is the seal that binds these beings in the spirit, not while they're in the physical, but once they have died the physical death on earth. Now their spirits are being bound with these fetters of iron without weight. Now that's symbolic. Now these fetters of iron without weight is what you are looking at right now. Now we are talking about the geometry and the sacred geometry. Now let me just run this by you real quick before we move forward into this information, which I know that you all want to hear. And it says, And he replied, These are prepared for the host of Azazel, that they might be delivered over and adjudged to the lowest condemnation, and that their angels may be overwhelmed with hurled stones. Now, as we see that this is being prepared for those fallen sons of God, those watchers, and that this is that geometry that binds. I'll be back.